Hi everybody, I want to start this video by showing you a kind of shortcut on how to do some of those kind of quicker or easier formulas here. So I'm back to our call center log, and you can see that we have a column here called cumulative minutes. So when something is cumulative, it means that you keep adding it up. So what we want to happen here is we want the first cell to just be 21, but then we want the next cell to be 21 plus 28. And then we want the next cell to be 21 plus 28 plus 8. The next cell, 21 plus 28 plus 8 plus 11, and so on. So you can kind of see the pattern there that we're going. And there is actually a really nice shortcut that you can do so you don't have to do this more manually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the column where the data is that I would be using. So I'm going to just select this entire column. I'm just selecting the numbers though. I'm not selecting the words or anything like that. And then when I get to the bottom, I release my mouse, I do see this little box pop open here. So this is our quick analysis box. I'm going to open that. And then there are some little kind of quick things that, oh, I didn't mean to change all that, but I changed the color. You can see I just rolled over to change the color scheme. So there's lots of things you could do here. You can change the color scheme and things like that for formatting. But if you go to totals, these are some very common total formulas that we use, like sum, average, count, percent, and so on. So running total is what really we're looking for here. And it's a running total is kind of adding it all up down the line for you. And I want to point on a key feature here. And I am using Excel 365 right now. So notice how in the first few, they're kind of highlighting the box down bottom in blue. And you can see behind me on my screen here that it's sort of filling in, right? So they're showing you where they would put that answer. They put that answer below the column. And then there's the running total. If you keep going though, you see that other things start to get highlighted. See how here the cells are highlighted on the right. So they're putting the information here on the right for you. And again, some of these don't make sense for our data here, right? To have the sum of the rows or the average, that doesn't make sense. But the one that does is this running total. And again, there's you want this one on the end here where it's highlighted on the right, so that we're not just getting the final total at the bottom as one answer, but we're actually getting the total for each row down the line there. So this is that quick analysis piece that allows you to do some of those quicker or more common total formulas very easily and very fast. So I'm going to click that running total, and you can see that they were all put in here, and I'm going to go up top. And again, just make sure it's what you want, right? The first cell is 21, and the next cell is 49, which is 21 plus 28. Then here we have 57, which is 21 plus 28 plus 8, and so on. So that is what I wanted it to do. And what I could do is just kind of tweak this. So if I don't want it to be bold, I can just highlight that cell there, and I can change that formatting. It does bold automatically. So I can go up here to my home, my font page, and just unbold that. And then that looks a little bit more nicer for the formatting here. Now you can do this manually as well. I'm just going to use this column here. I know it doesn't make sense here, but I am going to do this column to kind of show you how you could do that manually. All right, so what you could do here, again, kind of doing it more a little bit at a time. So you could start with the first piece, and you're really just looking for the first column, right? So we're just doing this one here. And then for the second one, you would be summing, and you would want the first two columns, right? And then, oops. Uh-oh, that does not look good. Let's see. There we go. So you'd be summing the first two columns, and then here again, if I hit that sum feature, I'd be summing the first three columns, and so on. So you can kind of see the pattern here if you look. So we start by summing just J5 and J6. Then we're going from J5 through J7. For the next one, I'd be going from J5 all the way through, let's see, J8. So if you kind of look at the last couple of formulas, you do see that pattern here where the J5 is staying the same, but I want the next cell reference to keep increasing by 1, right? So here it was 6, here it's 7, here it's 8, but in each case that J5 is the same. If I try to copy this cell, it's not working. So notice when I go to the next one, it's moving all of those cells down. So it's going to J6 to J9, and then J7 to J10. So that first cell is moving along with it. So these, what's the word I'm looking for here? Oh, so these kind of references are called relative cell references. So it's just the cell reference, J7, J10, and as you copy, they move as well. Like they kind of follow that pattern. And I've showed you guys this little trick already, but we do have something called absolute cell references, which fix a piece of information. And to do that, you use dollar signs. So if I go in here and I fix that first cell, and I'm going to put a dollar sign in front of the J and in front of the 5 because I want the whole cell to be fixed. I don't want the column to move. I don't want the row to move. I want everything to stay the same. And I try it again. Hopefully this will copy correctly now. So as I go down, I can see now that first cell stayed the same and only J8 changed to J9. Here, that cell stayed the same and only J9 changed to J10. So when you put these dollar signs in, we refer to that as an absolute cell reference. So it fixes that cell in the formula. I didn't do a great job here because I didn't fix my formatting. So I'm going to fill without formatting so I don't change that color background. But that's really what's going on here with that kind of shortcut formula of summing to the right there of that cumulative sum is we are using just a more complicated formula. So you can do it by hand, but I have to actually use fixed cells, so absolute cell references to make sure that it copies the correct way down or autofills the correct way. So that's something to note for, and I know we've seen them a little bit already, so they're coming back again. Now, the other thing that's interesting is you can fix individual parts of it. So here, it doesn't really make sense either way, but if you could fix just a cell number, or you could fix just a column. So if you did want some things to change on the cell, but maybe the column needed to stay fixed or the cell number needs to stay fixed, but the columns could change, you can do that. And that's called a mixed cell reference. So depending on what you want to stay fixed, you could fix them both, which totally locks in that specific cell, or you could fix just the cell number or just the column and allow for part of it to follow the pattern of the copy as well. So that's one thing to just kind of note here. And again, that's why I always tell you guys to check your formulas and make sure they're copying as you want them to copy.